All right, we are now live, Sangeet. Good to have you here. Um, Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everyone, based on wherever you're joining us from. Welcome to the Soul Show, Chapter 4, hosted by Soulverse. And this is your host, Kavita Kanaparthi. And today's speaker is Sangeet, who has a very diverse background from boardrooms to back streets. He's been building businesses and dreams across diverse industries. He's just not a founder and a CEO, but a talk show host as well, an advisor, a mentor, and a lot of companies and individuals have benefited from his extensive experience, and he's been really driving India's future. And so much about him. He is also the force behind SHK Global Ventures and architect of Indian Dreams. Me, the host, Kavita Kanaparthi, is the founder and CEO of Soulverse. Welcome to the show, and let's get started. Uh, Sangeet, I would like you to give an introduction of yourself. I've said a
Sure.
few words, but I'm sure there is a lot I kind of compacted into very few words. I would love to
Very
hear.
nice.
Please give
As
yourself.
always, so this is my. I was just telling Ali, that I was wanting to do something on StreamYard, and I was just talking to my team. I think what is the most important part today is when we think positive, and whatever we think is called manifestation that happens. I was just
Yes.
googling and I was just researching about the StreamYard, and I am here, hosted by Kavita, hosted by you, hosted by Soul Words. It's such a beautiful word. The word itself is so beautiful. So yeah, so first I'm super excited to be here. As I said, well, my journey is about three and a half decades, 35 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I, I was in the US. I did my bachelor's in business management from the University of Wisconsin in the US, and then
Mm-hmm.
I came here to India. I did my schooling in India, and yeah, the journey has been amazing. I never knew that I would ever reach here or I would want to do this. My life has been not planned. I did not do any planning. I just went with the flow, Kavita.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever was, I felt was right for me. And I remember, like, when I was growing up, my mom used to tell me that I'm a very restless kid. So I always wanted too many things, right? So I was
Mm-hmm.
not happy with one toy. I had to play with too many toys. Taking that, and correlating that, I think that's what I'm doing in business. What was pre-pandemic was not in my favor. Everybody,
Mm-hmm.
my friends, my family, were telling me, and I'm sure all of you have heard that word, that you're spreading too thin. That
Mm-hmm.
spreading too thin, which was pre-pandemic, actually worked
Mm-hmm.
in all our favors, all our hustlers, all our multitaskers, because during the pandemic, you had no one, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
working from home, you're working from wherever you were working, you had to do anything and everything on your own. So that
Yeah.
multitasking, that spreading the too thin, actually worked in my favor. So I worked across functions. I have done branding, I've done marketing, I've done PR, I've done investment banking, I've done events, I've hosted events, I've moderated events, and
Okay.
that has been exciting. What biggest thing which was Kavita, whenever I was down, either
Mm-hmm.
with my health or with my finance, everybody goes through their journey. One thing
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do is I didn't leave the focus of the industry which I was in. So I've actually only really worked only technically in just two industries. One is real
Mm-hmm.
estate domain, and the other is the media and the entertainment industry.
Okay.
Normally we all do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are successful, say, in the business of garment, and the
Mm-hmm.
garment business is not doing good. Suddenly you will
Mm-hmm.
go into steel or you will get into some other business. I'm sure you,
Right.
Kavita, would have interviewed or you would have met a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners who have changed their business drastically in 1 decade, 2 decades, or 3 decades. I know students who have changed their from one
Degrees,
stream to another
focus.
stream. Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
that's where the thing is, right? We're in a very
Mm-hmm.
fast tempo moving mode now. So
Mm-hmm.
that worked in my favor. So whatever I build, I always say that I invest in relationships. So whatever
Mm-hmm.
relationships I have built, because उन्हीं को मैंने घर दिया है उन्हीं के साथ मैंने इवेंट कर रहा हूँ, उन्हीं के साथ मैं
Mhm.
ब्रांड एंडोर्समेंट कर रहा हूँ. तो नाउ I've
Mhm.
actually become a single point contact for the same
Mhm.
person for giving him multiple services and solutions.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
That's fantastic.
that is why it's so exciting. And the hunger to learn, Kavita.
Yes. That
I
is what drives us to, I think, couple of things that you said, if you don't mind me, because I wanted to dive right deep into a few things that you have just said there. Despite the fact that you were learning and you were spread, at some point you may have spread yourself too thin, you did not lose focus on the two things that are your strengths, which is real estate and media. Based on that, and you're also a talk show host, right? You have also been
I will, we're actually going to be launching it very soon.
okay.
Uh, so I want to add one more aspect now. That this is again the experience of 3 decades.
Mm-hmm.
Mistake which I did
Mm-hmm.
during my earlier entrepreneur journey.
Okay.
And what I have not, the mistake I've learned from that previous journey to what I am right now, if you could call this 3.0 for the
Mm-hmm.
lack of word,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I was not investing in the right resource. I
Okay.
was not, so I was there, I was hiring people, I was
Mm-hmm.
hiring talent, but the
Mm-hmm.
talent was not capable and competent enough, with all due respect,
Mm-hmm.
to very few of them, which I hired, they were good enough to take me and bring me to the level where I am today. Their
Okay.
role is important, but
Mm-hmm.
where I was losing out was by not getting the right talent. And I think this
Okay.
is the era,
Mm-hmm.
2024, where we have
Mm-hmm.
got so much of talent. And there is
Mm-hmm.
so much of young talent. They are highly skilled. We need to
Right.
ensure that we hire the right talent. So that was
Mm-hmm.
my learning, and that is the bringing. That's the change which I have brought in. So, Kavita, I'm so relaxed that I have a wonderful team, very, very young team. I've
Mm-hmm.
learned to listen. I was again not listening to my team earlier, nor they were
Mm-hmm.
talking to me. Today's generation, Kavita, they don't
Mm-hmm.
want to be, they have their own mind. They
Mm-hmm.
will, they will challenge you.
Mm-hmm.
My team members, first I gave them the right to challenge me
Mm-hmm.
because that's how I will learn and I'll grow.
Mm-hmm.
And I very strongly believe that 30%, 35%, whatever those figures are, is what
Mm-hmm.
the Indian youth as a consumer is.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the Indian economy is booming right now. So
Mm-hmm.
the youth of this country is the future of this country.
Right.
I'm heavily invested in the youth of this country. They are
Okay.
my working with me. I'm learning from them every day. And whatever you're going to be seeing in the next few days, two
Mm-hmm.
platforms like you talked about the show, entire
Mm-hmm.
show has been designed by my team. I'm
Okay.
actually going to be, Kavita, just like you're hosting the show, I will be
Right.
hosting my show.
Well, I will be eager to watch you as a host, and I wanted to understand as let's say you may have thought about it, right? What topics you would want to cover, and how would you want to ensure. On the same front, with the same thought, we have a few questions for you.
Sure.
I wanted, despite your deep, experience in the real estate field, and the merger of Web3, that in the blockchain technologies that we are talking about in the in the space of the technology industry, and how it is used in real estate. No, I'm not going to delve deep into the technical part of it, but I'm going to ask you about the conceptual part of it. With your deep, knowledge of how the processes, how the transactions are done, and how the issues that are faced, over the years that you have seen the industry grow from the street corner real estate agent to where it is today, the online platforms, and the big real estate players that you have. How you have seen the technology enable people to adapt how real estate is, transactions are done, how it is procured, how you safeguard your transaction and all of that. Now, you said something about 3.0. I'm going to bring the Web 3.0 into the picture. How do you see Web 3.0 shape real estate industry, and what are the issues that can be solved? How do you see that?
Sure. So first, we need to understand that prop tech, which we call, and the technology adaptation and enablement in the real
Mm-hmm.
estate industry has been very, very slow. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the real estate industry itself has been a very traditional way of doing business.
Mm-hmm.
We had the RERA, which was imposed. We had a few other transformational changes, which
Mm-hmm.
actually turned around the way Indian real estate was. The real estate industry landscape changed. The industry evolved because of the
Mm-hmm.
RERA, which was an act, which is a Government of India act. Just like how
Mm-hmm.
we have acts for insurance and for shares, you have IRDA and SABI. So when RERA came in, that was a consumer protecting act. That brought in a lot of changes. And then the
Mm-hmm.
Modi government brought in a few changes. We had the implication of GST. The market trends changed because of the pandemic. We were started showing homes online because you were there for almost 2 years. You had the inventory. Developers had no option where they had to go online, and that's when they realized that what was actually an adversity, they had to do it at like a majburi times. हम जैसे वेबिनार्स करते हैं अब हमारा आदत पड़ गया कविता. I don't have
Mm-hmm.
to travel. Forget Bombay to Pune. I don't travel from Bombay to Bombay. Within
Okay.
Element, we have stopped doing it. We do virtual calls. I have a team
Okay.
which is working hybrid now.
Mm-hmm.
All this is an impact of the pandemic. A lot
Mm-hmm.
is an impact because of RERA. A lot is
Mm-hmm.
an impact because of the way the consumers have now responded. Any
Mm-hmm.
business, I always keep saying that, especially in prop tech, I can
Mm-hmm.
build anything, right? You have
Mm-hmm.
something called Soulverse, I can do something called Realverse, but is
Mm-hmm.
there a need? Are
Right.
your consumers ready to, consume what you are building? That's why
Mm-hmm.
we have so much of startups failing because you
Mm-hmm.
have, especially in the prop tech, they
Mm-hmm.
completely fail because they've not understood the market.
Right.
So with that understanding, there has been a paramount shift in the consumption of real estate. So
Right.
we have to look this from a consumption point of view, from a
Mm-hmm.
buyer's point of view, from a consumer's point of view, and then build solutions for reaching out to those consumers. That is how the latest and still not being so-called super successful. I would still call it not successful. Is the metaverse. It's a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful kind of a platform or a tool or whatever you want to call it from a tech perspective, where a home buyer sitting right at home right now can actually virtually experience the brand, can actually go through the brand experience. But
Mm-hmm.
again, as I said, real estate is touch, is feel. We're not getting there. There's a very small percentage of consumers want to walk the path of the metaverse. So that's where the challenge is.
Mm-hmm.
Then, when we talk about regulation, we talk about the regulatory, that's where again we have challenges. So, the
Mm-hmm.
most advanced thing, what has changed right now, I want to start from the Web3 perspective, that now we have blockchain, we have tokenization, and we have fractional ownership. Now, why
Mm-hmm.
is fractional ownership successful and why is it going to scale up? We need to understand the fundamentals behind fractional ownership
Mm-hmm.
because the industry is evolved. So
Right.
I have a land, I have an asset, I build the asset, I give it
Mm-hmm.
to a co-living operator, I give it to a co-working operator, I give it to a warehouse. These so-called asset classes have evolved. पहले वो
Mm-hmm.
नहीं होता था कविता. कविता एज अ
Right.
बिल्डर, मैं पहले घर बनाता था या मैं कमर्शियल बिल्डिंग बनाता था या मैं
Right.
दुकान बनाता था.
Right.
Multiplex I neither way. I have to make single screen. So
Mm-hmm.
what has evolved, Kavita, is the asset classes have the landscape has expanded. When the
Right.
landscape has expanded, now you have asset operators.
Mm-hmm.
सो बिल्डिंग आप बनाने के बाद आपको लीज आउट करना है, मैनेजमेंट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट देना है को लिविंग ऑपरेटर को, को वर्किंग ऑपरेटर को, हॉस्पिटैलिटी को, ओल्ड एज होम को और वेयर हाउसिंग को. अब क्योंकि ये रेंटल इनकम जनरेट कर रहा है, तब आपको इंस्टीट्यूशन इन्वेस्टर भी जाग गया कि भाई चलो यहाँ पे मैं इसको 100 करोड़ रुपए देता हूँ, ये एक उसने एक एसेट बनाया है, एंड एक एसेट मैनेजमेंट कंपनी आ गई, एक ब्लैकस्टोन आ गया, एक ब्रुकफील्ड आ गया, तब जाके आपके वो एसेट जो है वो एक इंस्टीट्यूशन को एक्वायर हो गए। अब जब इंस्टीट्यूशन को एक्वायर हो गया तब समझ में आया, अरे इसको फ्रैक्शनाइज करो भाई, अब इसको
Right.
टोकनाइज करो। तो
Right.
रिटेल इन्वेस्टर जो है, जो 25 लाख 50 लाख और 1 करोड़ रुपए लेके बैठा है, वो भी
Mhm.
आ गए, इसीलिए आपकी रीट्स भी आ गए,
Right.
बिकॉज
So
इकोनॉमिक्स हैव चेंज।
right. So what we see, in all of this is that, we first need to build the market, for the products that are being developed in prop tech, especially. And that was going to be my question as to, do you really see these taking off, and and whether we are actually overestimating the consumers want to walk through a metaverse for to buy a house or to buy some land, in a different part of the world. It does open up a lot of doors, but is it being overstated? Is the need
Yes,
being overstated?
I
And
think
and the failure of the startups could be coming from there. As an entrepreneur, as you have, as you're an advisor as well as an entrepreneur, what would your advice be to the startups that are, looking into, especially the real estate space, building, using technology? What would your advice be as as an entrepreneur?
Well, that's a wonderful question. It's a beautiful question, Kavita. Uh, I tell you where the space is, right? As I said, I started this conversation with you from the consumer perspective. So
Hmm.
there are still pain points. Unfortunately, we consider 99 acres, we consider Magic Brick as prop tech. They are not prop tech. They're only listing websites.
Right.
Another myth. When you tell anybody that I will go to be sell, I want to sell my property online, they say नहीं, वो
Right.
तो होगा ही नहीं, वो होगा,
Hmm.
वो हो रहा
Hmm.
है और वो होने
Hmm.
वाला है। अब
Right.
कितने वैल्यू की डील होगी वो हमें नहीं पता है। 25
Hmm.
लाख की डील हो सकती है, 5 करोड़ की हो सकती है। कविता, आई एम सिटिंग इन बॉम्बे, आई हैव अ फैमिली मेंबर ऑफ माइन इन बैंगलोर, आई एम
Hmm.
नॉट हैविंग टाइम टू गो टू बैंगलोर, I will see everything online. I will go through
Hmm.
the metaverse. I'll go through their videos. I do AI. Whatever is the way I can see the property without
Hmm.
actually going to Bangalore. I will call Kavita. Kavita, you're a friend of mine. You're my sister. You're whatever my family member. चल एक बार जाके कविता वो बैंगलोर में जगह देख के आ जाना प्रॉपर्टी, तो आप जगह
Right.
देख के आओगे। And I can actually transact online. I have not gone there. This is
Hmm.
what's happening. NRIs. Are NRIs
Right.
coming? No. They have a
Yes.
family member in Bombay, in
Hmm.
Calcutta, in Bangalore,
Hmm.
in whichever part of the country they are buying. What we are seeing is a lower value of ticket size because you don't mind taking that risk.
Right.
तो शायद 5 करोड़ का 10 करोड़ का घर शायद अभी ऑनलाइन नहीं बिकेगा, क्योंकि आपको घर
Hmm.
देखना है। आप बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स होती हैं, आप अकेले घर नहीं ले रहे हो, आपकी फैमिली है, आपके बच्चे हैं, तो आपको वास्तु होता है, तो शायद वो शायद अभी नहीं होगा, उसको टाइम लगेगा।
Hmm.
लेकिन ब्लॉकचेन टोकनाइजेशन ये शुरू हो चुका है, एंड दिस इज 100% गोइंग टू ग्रो फ्रॉम हियर। We already
Hmm.
have companies which are already doing tokenization, fraction ownership, and again I want to add here, Kavita, fraction ownership also will also get into the asset classes. So you will
Hmm.
have the holiday homes being fractionalized. You will
Hmm.
be having all your co-living and senior citizen homes
Offices
also
and
getting
offices.
fractionalized.
Yes.
So that is for sure. Metaverse is still little bit, हम अभी भी AR VR नहीं यूज कर रहे हैं, तो आई थिंक
Hmm.
वो थोड़ा स्लो होगा, बट होगा जरूर। आपको
Hmm.
पेशेंस होना चाहिए। महिंद्रा ने पुणे में एक पूरा का पूरा प्रोजेक्ट मेटावर्स पे लॉन्च किया है।
Right. Right.
दूसरी बात कविता,
Hmm.
Indian real estate from the supply side, from the developer side, has also gone through a major transformation. You
Hmm.
have big brands now turned developers. I'm talking of big brands like Adani. I'm
Hmm.
talking big brands like DLF, which is actually a real estate brand, but Mahindra. Consumer
Right.
brands have become there. Tata.
Hmm.
Tata is the most trustworthy brand today. Tata
Right.
means Tata means reliability. Today
Hmm.
you have Tata building homes, you have Tata building second homes, you have Tata building office parks, you have Tata building warehousing. So when the industry is transiting into
Mm-hmm.
corporatization,
Mm-hmm.
industrialization is happening, that's where this change is happening. That's where technology will come in. Because if Tata says कि ये मेरा मेटावर्स है, आप बिलीव करोगे क्योंकि टाटा का मेटावर्स है। मैं एक छोटा माइक्रो मार्केट का डेवलपर हूँ, तो शायद आप एज अ बायर नहीं बिलीव करोगी कि यार ये संगीत हेमंत कुमारी एसएचके का घर है, मैं इसमें विश्वास नहीं करूंगी, मुझे जाके देखना है वो बिल्डिंग कहाँ बना रहा है।
Right, right. Based on that, the bigger brands have a brand value, but the opportunities lie in building something new, right? Where do you see the biggest opportunities and challenges for Indian businesses in the next coming years, right? And
तो
envisioning the shape and shaping the future for the Indian businesses.
सी आई थिंक व्हाट नाउ, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया कि अभी तक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म शायद बना होगा, मुझे नहीं पता है। आई एम नॉट 100% aware of things, but I think we're going to be moving into a transactional prop tech now. And I mean transactional, where at least the transaction is enabled.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever is required, whatever is the
Mm-hmm.
journey, right, for a home
Mm-hmm.
buyer, that needs to be mapped. And whatever I am doing in a physical perspective, that is
Mm-hmm.
what technology will now need to be adopted for me to sitting here at my place, you sitting where you are, and just like we're
Right.
doing this through StreamYard, there has to be the entire customer journey which needs to
Mm-hmm.
be mapped, and
Mm-hmm.
wherever we can maximize the use of technology is what I think is going to be the need of the hour, and that's where the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity is. We're going to move
Mm-hmm.
away from listing websites, from discovery websites to transactional platforms.
Right. Right.
I can't think of a transactional platform myself, so you got to excuse
Mm-hmm.
that. But from a
Mm-hmm.
fraction ownership point of view, a tokenization point of view, it's already started. We have not tens, we have hundreds of companies. I'm sure we have listeners here who are watching this webcast. I'm sure we have founders joining us here. We have investors joining us, and
Mm-hmm.
not just institutional investors, not just asset management companies, even individual investors जो आज से 4-5 साल पहले चले गए थे, they have again come
Mm-hmm.
back to.
Right. I think there will be eventual consolidation of businesses and the ideas that we're building on. The best opportunities would be to watch the space where the growing businesses are looking at, especially if we are looking at real estate industry. We look at the fractionalization, look at manpower management, and see how the technology can be utilized, logistics chain management and all of that, right? There could be multiple areas where technology can play a role, and if the companies that entrepreneurs are looking at opportunities, the best way probably could be in one of those areas. Is there
Yes, you're
any
right.
one, is there any one particular area within
No,
the real estate field that can see an immediate
so, very again amazing question, very interesting question, and I would love to. Again, I might not do justice to it from a technical point of view, but suddenly this word cropped up into mind, which everybody is still trying to decode it. Is
Mhm.
AI,
Right,
artificial intelligence. So
right.
you just said about manpower, right? So I
Hmm.
think AI is going to be one of the most important tool from a tech point of view, which today a prop
Yes.
tech entrepreneur who is either built a platform or building a platform to enable any kind of the journey of a buyer or an investor, or
Mhm.
acquiring any kind of an asset. I think that AI is already we have a lot of platforms where we are using AI. I don't know the
Mhm.
percentage of AI. Are we talking of a platform which is going to be matching properties 100% by using AI? So I have
Mhm.
to go on my, I have a platform. Let's just right now call it for the sake of it, it's
Mhm.
Real Soul. And because you have soul and real, I believe, is the soul of business. So if there is a realsoul.com, You can actually go there. You can just, perhaps not even type. Again, there's AI. We have conversational tools. So I'm talking to you, right, as if I'm on real words right now, and you are there.
Right.
And I say, Kavita, I'm looking for a 2 BHK house. Kavita is going to ask me, Sangeet,
Mm-hmm.
what is the bedroom house you want? I said, Kavita, I'm looking for a 2
Mm-hmm.
BHK house in Mumbai. Kavita is going to ask me, which
Mm-hmm.
part of Mumbai? What's your budget?
Right.
Are we getting there?
Right.
I don't know. Has someone is
Mm-hmm.
someone doing it? I don't know. Have I given an idea?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Is somebody listening? I
Yeah.
don't have an
You
idea.
literally have, and I think that is a reason why we are here to kind of pick your
I
brain on
just
exactly.
this could be the next unicorn. I have no idea. But I'm just because आपने कहा था शुरू में कि ये दिल से कन्वर्सेशन है, ये हार्ट टू हार्ट कन्वर्सेशन है, कोई रिसर्च नहीं है, कोई आप तुमको सवाल. Typically when I moderate or when I'm invited, there's a questionnaire which I get or I send
Mm-hmm.
out. I asked
Mm-hmm.
सर कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है, कविता के जो मन में आएगा वो बोलने वाली है, पूछने वाली है. तो वो इसलिए मजा आ रहा है आपके डिस्कशन में कि देयर इज नो सेट क्वेश्चन, राइट? So AI is
Yes.
what
Build
I
on,
believe AI is
the
going to
your
be a big
strength.
game changer.
Right, right. I like to build on the conversation so that the listeners actually gain the maximum value from what you have to say, and that I think that's the best model. I can kick up some questions from again from AI, ChatGPT. Just put in some topic and get some questions, but that would not serve the purpose. And the purpose is for people to know and learn more from your
तो
insights.
आपने भी बहुत एक ये पॉइंट पे भी मैं इलैबोरेट करना चाह रहा हूँ और जो भी
One
हमारे.
of the, I had a quick thing for you. One of
या
the listeners just mentioned that Raymond's has also entered the real estate sector. So
या
there is,
ओके. 100. So we were partners with the Kadai MCHI Expo, which
Mhm,
just was the 3 day expo. That's again now I want to add on a perspective.
mhm,
बहुत लोग बोलते थे जब हमने ये एग्जीबिशन Kadai MCHI एग्जीबिशन किया कि अरे यार सब अभी ऑनलाइन हो गया, ऑफलाइन कोई जाने वाला नहीं है, कौन आएगा
mhm.
यार, घर जो है आप सब ऑनलाइन भेजो ना. We had 15,000 registration
Absolutely.
last
There
day,
is,
which was Sunday. What now I'm trying to say, Kavita, we are entering into an hybrid model.
yes,
आपका ऑनलाइन, ऑफलाइन,
yes,
डिजिटाइजेशन, टेक्नोलॉजी, ये सब
yes.
अब एक इट्स गोइंग टू बी टेकन इन वन ब्रेथ. अब अलग नहीं
All
होगा.
it,
ये हमने इसको जोड़ दिया है.
mhm.
Raymond Realty was there for this exhibition. Raymond
That's
Realty is buying property. एक बात आपको और समझनी है. These corporate houses were originally landlords.
okay.
Godrej is one of the biggest landlords in Vikhroli.
Mm-hmm.
They tasted success.
Mm-hmm.
Mahindra has a large land parcel in Kandivali.
Mm-hmm.
All these corporate houses did not enter real estate because of entering into business of real estate. Most of them
Mm-hmm.
had a lot of land parcels which kind of gave the promoter that चलो भाई इतना लैंड पड़ा है, लैंड अभी बिजनेस थोड़ा अच्छा हो गया है, थोड़ा क्लीन हो गया है, थोड़ा ट्रांसपेरेंट हो गया है, रेरा आ गया है, सो लेट्स गेट इनटू कंस्ट्रक्शन.
Right.
That's
How would
how
you?
that's how
Sorry.
Raymond is into, that's how Raymond is into business.
Right, right. I mean, yeah, most a lot of them had factories too, and they've turned the old factories into,
Absolutely. These
future real
factories have
estate
converted
businesses.
into, and the owner of the factory, which is a brand, has turned developer.
Right, right. What would you suggest entrepreneurs do in such a situation? Would you suggest that they take up the tried and tested model of working with the bigger brands and in and gaining a bank of knowledge that they require to go off on their own and build these businesses, especially the blockchain and the Web3 business that we are focusing on in the real estate space is very very new, is very like we just initially talked about, is misunderstood, is overrated, in sense of, or overstated, not overrated, overstated as per what the need is, right? So would you suggest the younger generation go and learn and understand how exactly all of this is done and required, like what would a builder require, in the in this prop tech space, what would a a landowner require to sell their land in the using prop tech, because we have to merge web 2 and web 3 and
Of
make it
course.
human
The
centric.
transition, Kavita, is there. You cannot. Web 2 is getting transited to Web 3.
You have to make it human centric, right? So
You have to make it.
for that to happen, where do you see the merger of entrepreneurs understanding, gaining that knowledge to make it human centric? As to like you said, there were 15,000 participants in this the event that you guys have conducted. Most of them would have come there to understand, talk, and all of that, despite the fact that even if there is a metaverse tomorrow, that you're going to walk everybody through the house, show them the view, show them the sunsets, or show them the sunrise, the water, the lakes, and all of that, they may still want to talk to somebody. How would you merge this web 2 and web 3 to make sure that going down the road using AI, web 3, and blockchain technologies, you keep the entire structure human centric?
Very nice question again. So I just give you again, जैसे आपने बोला तो I'm just thinking from the top of my mind, uh, uh, taking the cue and taking it forward from the exhibition. I don't now. We still have print, okay? We still want to give the brochure, which is very nice, which is very beautiful. Again, we have a good brochure, so that again you want to feel, you want to go through it. What is happening now? What will happen in the exhibition itself? I don't now need to. I just scan, right? There's a QR code. I have to just
Yes.
scan the QR code. और वो तो खैर रेरा ने भी आपको कंपलसरी कर दिया है
And that is a
तो
business, right? That somebody can build that QR code. There are
100%.
lots of businesses.
So
Yes.
this is what I want to use your show, this talk show, for all those real estate consultants, for all those real estate brokers, for all those developers who are not understanding that you are not getting replaced. It is the technology which is going to be replacing people who are not using technology.
Mm-hmm.
AI खुद
Yes.
आपको चेंज नहीं करने वाला है. एआई उन चीजों को अनेबल कर रहा है, बिजनेस को एक्सप्लोरेट कर रहा है, और आपको उस टेक्नोलॉजी को अडॉप्ट करना पड़ेगा, आपको अपस्किल करना पड़ेगा. अगर आप एक चैनल पार्टनर हैं, अगर आप एक ब्रोकर हैं, अगर आप डेवलपर हैं. मैं एक यहाँ पे एक पर्सपेक्टिव ऐड कर देता हूँ. वी PropTech is just not about marketing and sales. PropTech is also about construction tech. How a building is made. I'm working, and this is the right platform to talk about. There is a very young company which is based out of Surat, and the name of the company is Modicro. This is modular construction, where 80% of the construction is done in the factory. 20% is on the site. So this is the revolution I'm talking about in construction. So this is construction tech now. So we are
Right.
moving away from top tech, we're getting into construction tech now. Technology is going to enable faster construction of the building, because we got to understand that real estate itself is a capital, it's an expensive business, right? We require a lot of capital. तो जितना टाइम लगेगा कंस्ट्रक्शन में, उतना इंटरेस्ट लगेगा, जिसकी वजह से घर महंगे हो रहे हैं. तो अगर हम कंस्ट्रक्शन टाइम को कम कर देंगे, this construction time can only be done because of technology. So this
Yeah.
is which is going to happen now. So you are talking about these so-called adaptation. We can go on and on. I'm sure we have a lot of startup entrepreneurs who are working on these technology and creating these solutions. Now the challenge here is most of these technology is being adopted by the larger developers.
Right.
So you have no option as an entrepreneur to go to these. I also would want to take this opportunity to mention an accelerator, which is I think I'm sure it's India's first accelerator. It could also be Asia's first accelerator. Now, whenever I talk about anything, I'm obviously linking that to property. So that becomes a PropTech accelerator, and that is Brigade. So about
Okay.
5-6 years back, again, I'm not very sure. Brigade is, I think, Asia's first real estate focused accelerator. I don't have the numbers with me right now, but in the last count, they had mentored, handheld about 100 and 150 फाउंडर्स, स्टार्टअप फाउंडर्स। तो 150 फाउंडर्स तो ऑलरेडी एक एक एक्सीलरेटर ने हैंड होल्ड किया है।
Mm-hmm.
रियल
And they
एस्टेट इज
can share, their extensive knowledge about the whole business. Brigade
दैट्स
is
द
one of the
अपॉर्चुनिटी
well-known
कविता।
brands. Yes, yeah,
There is a
and
company by the name of Aurum PropTech, which
mm-hmm.
is investing into PropTech. Again, I'm not able to give you the right figures because I did not prepare for it. But till the
Mm-hmm.
last count of PropTech Ventures, which is a listed company, incidentally, I think they have
Mm-hmm.
acquired and they've built more than 15 to 17 platforms.
Fantastic, fantastic, and
Every
that
platform
business.
solving some problem, right? From a rental problem to a CRM, to some kind of a management, to fractionalization. It's all happening, कविता। ये
Mm-hmm.
फ्यूचर नहीं है। अगर आप बोलते हो कि प्रॉपर्टेक फ्यूचर है, आई एम सॉरी, यू आर लिविंग इन सम फूल्स पैराडाइज।
Mm-hmm.
इट्स टुडे,
It's now. It's
इट्स
happening.
नाउ।
Exactly. Um, that's the point that I'm glad you made that point. The prop tech is happening now. Exactly, it is. And if you looked at it, we already have biometric, authentication for the workforces. You have salaries being paid based on your attendance that uses biometric and all of that. So there is already a lot of technology being used, across the globe. Whether it's for IoT's management, building management, and sitting across the world and around the world. You're managing a lot of things in real estate for every user out there, right? Based on that, one thing is, interesting. You have to see that the accelerators that are there, they come from with a lot of experience out there. Where do you take this in terms of the one building block, so to speak, pun intended, the one building block that would take all these entrepreneurs to the next step of building the prop tech? Prop tech is here today, and people don't understand that when you say prop tech, that they're thinking the larger scheme of things. They're not thinking about the building blocks of prop tech. The building blocks of PropTech can be as simple as, sending out an application to apply for, a government issued housing or something like that. It could be, verifying your, finances through blockchain. It could be as simple as that. It could be verifying your identity to register for a certain thing, using all your PAN cards and everything is on the block, is in a verifiable credentials, all of that. There are a lot of building blocks. We when we think about prop tech, we're thinking about the larger scheme of things. But what are the smaller building blocks that people can bring in? Like you talked about, there's a QR code people scan and they get the the whole booklet for the property, on their things.
खुद ही बताया, अभी तो मैंने भी नहीं सोचा था। जो स्मॉल स्मॉल चीजें हैं, why are we looking at the larger picture, right? This
Right.
is a journey. This is a small. So I'll just give you. My sister stays in L&T Crescent Bay, which is a gated community. Again, it's another brand which I forgot to mention is Larsen and Toubro, one of the
Mm-hmm.
largest infra company building dams and bridges. They are doing real estate now. So we have
Mm-hmm.
L&T reality. So when I go to my sister's house, I get a notification on my mobile,
Mm-hmm.
and I when I enter the building, I have to just
Mm-hmm.
show her my the QR code, and it's registered there, and it
Right.
shows that the guest has arrived.
Mm-hmm.
Without the resident
Mm-hmm.
not sending out that so-called communication to the security, I can't
Right.
enter the building. So I'm just
Right.
talking about such a simple solution where
Mm-hmm.
resident is at peace, he or
Right.
she, if Kavita is not invited, I'm not sending you the invite, you can't enter my
Right.
building.
Right.
ये
A
छोटा
lot
सा
of
आपको example दिया है।
No, it could be about privacy, it could be about security, it could be about simple thing managing your, electricity consumption in the house. There is so much in prop tech that can be built using, blockchain technologies in the web and create them into the web3 space. we're talking larger. The larger picture is metaverse, of course. You want to walk people through the houses, and that's the larger.
Personally, I'm a big fan. So I want to make that statement here. I'm a big fan of the metaverse.
Right.
I would love if anybody is building a metaverse. I would love to be a part of it. I
Mm-hmm.
I, I have still not really been able to get the right platform or the right technology, but
Mm-hmm.
I am very firm believer. It's only a matter of time.
Yes.
India is a large country. We
Mm-hmm.
love experiences
Mm-hmm.
and loves experiences. It's only a matter of time that
Mm-hmm.
metaverse or any kind of a experiential technology digitization platform, I think, is the need of the hour. It will
Right.
take time. Okay, I'm
Mm-hmm.
again how much for a prop tech entrepreneur. It's very important is how much are you investing into your technology? What is the
Mm-hmm.
cost of acquiring your client till you
Right.
start actually making revenue? That's where we fail.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to understand that perspective कि आप जो बना रहे हैं वो क्या
Mm-hmm.
बायर है कि नहीं. You
Right.
cannot be a category creator. If you are
Mm-hmm.
wanting to be a category creator, Kavita, then you need to have that kind of funds in the bank. And
Right.
if
Right.
you believe you're going to disturb the market, then you better have that fund. Please, any startup founder with an
Mm-hmm.
idea and a few
Mm-hmm.
lakhs in your bank, don't
Mm-hmm.
venture to build a prop tech. Prop tech
Yeah.
requires money, prop tech requires buyers, prop tech requires consumers, prop tech
Option.
requires a lot of marketing, prop tech
Mm-hmm.
requires a lot of education before that targeted customer is actually acquired. There's a big gap there.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
you
It's
require
not just,
personalized patience.
yeah, yeah. And that is the reason why I was talking about, are there any, um, you know, avenues for the startups, and entrepreneurs who are dreaming, being a founder is a dream for a lot of people, and they forget that, and I'm part of a lot of startup, discussions and everything. Some of them talk about, oh, I have built this, and nobody wants to use it, I'm not able to find the user. They don't understand. What would you say to somebody like that, when a founder is saying that the market doesn't understand what they're building? Where do you think the issue lies? What is the gap between the founder and the
Hey,
market?
Kavita, you're coming out with some amazing questions. You're making me really think a lot. Actually, I need a coffee for this now. But I think so. The another change I want to tell you is the developer themselves. We have
Mm-hmm.
young developers, Kavita.
Mm-hmm.
These young
Yes.
developers in their 30s, they are not 100% tech savvy, but they
Right.
understand the technology is good for their business.
Mm-hmm.
Find that tech savvy developer. Go to the
Mm-hmm.
developer. I'm
Mm-hmm.
a I'm a startup founder. I want to build a prop tech. Go
Mm-hmm.
get yourself acquainted to that. Identify that developer who
Mm-hmm.
is tech savvy, who
Mm-hmm.
wants to build in technology, who understands. Let's not say he wants to build. He
Right.
understands technology. Go with your solution. Don't keep. You have as a prop tech founder, अगर आप एक अपना so called aspiration आपको लगता है कि मैं बना रहा हूँ और मैं अपने दिल पे रखूंगा, मैं किसी को बताऊंगा नहीं, कोई मेरा कोई आइडिया ले जाएगा. कोई आइडिया नहीं लेके जाता है किसी के पास
Right.
टाइम. कोई
Right.
इन्वेस्टर आइडिया लेके नहीं जाएगा. इन्वेस्टर की लाइन लगी हुई है फाउंडर्स
Right.
की. तो
Right.
आप थोड़ा रिस्क लो. हाँ, आप देखो किसके पास जा रहे हो. गो टू द
Mm-hmm.
मेंटर्स, go
Mm-hmm.
to the professors, go to the industry stalwarts, go to
Mm-hmm.
the younger, don't go to the older generation जो खुद
Mm-hmm.
अभी तक मोबाइल से ज़्यादा कुछ ज़्यादा ही करते हैं.
Mm-hmm.
व्हाट्सएप भी उनके पास बिजनेस व्हाट्सएप नहीं है. उनको अगर आप बोलोगे
Right.
कि बिजनेस व्हाट्सएप क्या है तो बोलेंगे ये क्या होता है. तो उस
Mm-hmm.
जनरेशन की बात मत करो, उसके पास मत जाओ. लेकिन जो
Mm-hmm.
टेक्नोलॉजी सेवी है, जो समझता है, जो यूथ है, तो हमारे जितने भी ट्रेड एसोसिएशंस हैं, क्रेडाई क्रेडाई एमसीचाई, नेरेटको, इन सब लोग ने, इन सब एसोसिएशन ने एक प्रॉपटेक का विंग बनाना शुरू कर दिया है.
Mm-hmm.
You please go to क्रेडाई एमसीचाई, go to क्रेडाई, go to नेरेटको, go to the नेरेटको का यूथ विंग. You will have to take an effort. Just
Mm-hmm.
don't think and build, put all your
Mm-hmm.
money, and then say, "अरे यार ये मेरे पास इसके who is going to use this platform?"
Right. I think there is a lot of there is a dream, and they, I think one fine day, they, a lot of them, talk to a few friends of theirs who are also pretty much most likely, in the same boat as the dreamers. And there's a gap between the market research and, the understanding of the market, or the idea of their idea of the market. That is where I think the accelerators and
Before
advisors.
big bucks, talk to the people, right? आपने
Right.
बताया इंडिया वैसे ही हम मार्केट रिसर्च नहीं करते हैं,
Hmm.
या poorest in market research.
That's where advisors like you, are a big
I would
asset
love
to
to.
anyone.
Kavita, I take this opportunity of the platform which you have built, this talk show. I would be open if any prop tech venture, any founder is building something. I would be more than happy to give a few of my hours to at least give them some direction, if nothing else.
Great, listeners, you have heard that. That is very kind and big-hearted of Sangeet.
I really, it pains me, Kavita, when I see failed prop tech founders, when I feel
Hmm.
failed prop tech venture. It's painful. I've gone through it myself. As a founder, it's the
Right.
most painful part of your life where you're young, you have the idea, you believe you have conquered the world. Again, as for small advice, there are
Hmm.
so many stalwarts in the industry with years of experience. Talk to them, approach
Okay.
them. Everybody is approachable. Knock on their door, take an appointment, go and meet them. Tell them this is my idea. They will tell you, अरे ये बहुत अच्छा है यार, इसको तुम ये ऐसे करो, ये gap है. Indian
Hmm.
real estate requires technology enablement. It can only be done by PropTech. It cannot be done by, I mean, as a consultant or as a broker, I can't do it. I need
Right.
technology for that. So it's all about opportunities for PropTech founders. Immense opportunity.
Great to hear that, Sangeet. I want to now bring the one question that I have, I that is an interest from my heart, is to ask you to share a memorable experience in the entire journey that you have had in your success story, right from the beginning till the end, till today, in the entire success story that you have had. Could you share a memorable experience in from your career that truly shaped your career?
So I mean, I might not be able to really get you the right experience as a memory of what you're talking about. But when I started this conversation with you,
Hmm.
Kavita, what worked in my favor was this multitasking and wearing multiple hats. And again, this is a very cliche that you have to be passionate and dedicated, and that's part of it. But
Yeah.
I'll just give you from a journey point of view, I get a
Hmm.
call about 6 years back. So I was
Hmm.
one of the few brokers who was active on Facebook, and
Hmm.
I was using Facebook Live.
Hmm.
So I get a call from the business head of
Hmm.
Kredai MCHI, who's now become a dear friend, whose name
Hmm.
is TD Joseph. टीडी
Okay.
calls me and tells me, संगीत हम एक बहुत बड़ा अवार्ड्स कर रहे हैं और इसका
Hmm.
नाम है गोल्डन पिलर अवार्ड, और ये एनएसआई ग्राउंड में हो रहा है,
Okay.
और it's going to be a big show. We're going to have Bollywood, we're going to have music, we're going to have magic show. It's in the
Hmm.
it's dome, और देखो फेसबुक लाइव करना है. अब
Okay.
ये लोग हंसेंगे इस बात को सुन के. मेरे को
Okay.
ये लगा कि जो मैं फेसबुक लाइव करता हूँ मेरे
Hmm.
मोबाइल, ये 140 फीट का लेंथ का जो सो कॉल्ड स्टेज बन रहा है, मैं ये
Hmm.
कैसे तय करने वाला हूँ?
Okay.
आई वाज नॉट हैविंग दैट आइडिया. देन व्हेन आई
Hmm.
लर्न, आई कॉल्ड अप अ फ्यू फ्रेंड्स, बोला भाई आपको वहां पे कैमरा लगाने पड़ेगा,
Hmm.
आपको 5 कैमरा 7 कैमरा लगेगा, लाइव
Hmm.
स्ट्रीमिंग का एक गैजेट होता है, एक स्विच होता है, वहां से जाके वो फीड जाएगी और वहां
Right.
से आपका लाइव स्ट्रीम होगा. That was the birth of what it was called, and we were the official live streaming partner for the biggest ever and the first real estate awards in the NSAI Dome at Worli. 3,500 people attending it. Karishma Tanna was performing. It was
Hmm.
Mandira Bedi hosting it. It was
Hmm.
the biggest award. It was also called as the Oscar of Indian real estate. That
That's
is an
awesome.
example, not even knowing what live streaming is. As I said, I was given the opportunity. मैंने उसको नहीं छोड़ा. मैंने डीप
Mhm.
डाइव किया कि ये क्या होता है और मैंने उसको अडॉप्ट किया. And I actually was successful in live streaming an event, which I thought I will be doing it from a
Mhm.
mobile, which I had a six camera, I think it was a five camera setup.
Ah,
अपॉर्चुनिटी आएगी,
interesting.
आपको
Yes.
ग्रैब करना पड़ेगा.
That was going to be my next question for you, Sangeet, and you have answered it, thoroughly in this question itself. My question to you was going to be, what would you leave your listeners with in terms of, um, your experience? What in prop tech, especially, if you're venturing into prop tech, what where do you want to look in terms of what road you want to take to build successful prop tech? Pick a piece, pick a small piece, and make that fit into the puzzle instead of building something that doesn't. It's, if you're trying to build some piece of a circle to fit into a square, it ain't gonna fit. And that is the thing that that I might tell somebody from, based on your experience. But I wanted to ask you, to all the listeners out there who are listening in, what would you leave them with in terms of financial advice, in terms of choosing their the path advice, and choosing the right advisors to make
दैट्स द
a
की. आपने जो
the,
लास्ट में जो बोला ना, अगेन आई कीप सेइंग दैट, अगेन आई वांट टू से दैट, आई वांट टू एम्फसाइज दैट. जैसे आपने बोला कि देयर इज नो पॉइंट बिल्डिंग इफ दैट प्रोडक्ट फिट इज नॉट देयर.
Mhm,
Uh, there has been a lot of success stories. We have no broker who was having a problem in finding a right rental house, and he created an app. So
mhm,
most of solutions are when the founder has gone through pain and they've
mhm,
gone through the journey, they come out
mhm,
with the solutions. Not
mhm.
all painful solutions are going to be successful. It's
Right.
your pain. It does not mean that it's painful for other consumers also. It's
Very
my
true.
pain is not your pain. And
Mhm,
my pain, you cannot build a venture out of the pain thinking कि वो बहुत लोगों का पेन है.
mhm,
तो पहली बात तो वो जो गलती है मत करो.
mhm,
और एक मुझे जो लग रहा है, देयर आर लॉट ऑफ प्लेटफॉर्म्स ऑलरेडी देयर. डू
mhm.
योर रिसर्च. अगर मैं
Right.
एक सोल्यूशन के ऊपर काम कर रहा हूँ तो डबल चेक करो कि कोई ना कोई और तो नहीं वो बना रहा है. You have to be as unique as possible. So as I said, there are incubators, there are accelerators.
Right.
I also want to add here, most of our IPCs, which is the International Property Consultants like JLL, they have also launched their own PropTechs now. There are hackathons happening. So there is a
Right.
lot of buzz in the
Mhm,
market, and there are a lot of your
mhm,
angel investors, venture capitalists, your VC funds. So अभी बात करते करते जैसे मैंने
mhm.
बताया venture capitalist, one of the largest VC fund. They have partnered with Kadai MCHI, and jointly together they have created 1,000 crore का fund. Research करो.
Wow. Interesting.
There are investors, institutional incubators, accelerators, banks, financial
Mhm,
institutions. Most of them have got a PropTech vertical, a PropTech
mhm,
incubator, a PropTech
mhm.
accelerator, a PropTech investment vertical. So you will have to
Fantastic.
go out there.
Great to hear. Great to hear that. Thank you so much, Sangeet. I
I'm
think this
not
has
able to
been.
use the right name, but I will. If I can use the right, if I'm correct, call up
Mhm.
Reliance, call up Nareco, talk to the managing committee, talk to the office, find out who's looking after vertical. I think Deep Jawar is looking after the PropTech vertical for Credai MCHI.
Okay.
Talk,
Fantastic.
call Deep up and talk to Deep.
Fantastic. As you know, what advice would you leave? Solvers is building a lot of blockchain and self-sovereign identity that would be fitting into prop tech as well eventually. What advice would you leave us, in terms of what we're doing, and Any considerations that we should have?
With the opportunity, Indian real estate is at about 300 and $350 billion. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to be touching $1 trillion.
Mm-hmm.
Again, as I said, I'm not prepared with facts and figures. I'm not the right person. But just to give you a ballpark figure, even if I take 10% of the Indian real estate, which is going to be valued at about a $1 trillion,
Mm-hmm.
10% of that is the opportunity in PropTech. And that's just the beginning. So
There
when
you
you
hear,
talk
guys and girls, and dream big. And
opportunity,
yes, there's a lot of opportunity. Dream big, build strong, and innovate. That is where the opportunity lies. And
learn to collaborate, learn to
yes.
partner, get the right people, invest in your resources. I see a lot of again, a lot of due respect, a lot of founders will not with the financial so-called bandwidth in
Mm-hmm.
jumping into this, and then they're having problems for themselves, for the families, for their vendors. Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as Soulverse is concerned, amazing opportunity with whatever the products which you already have. PropTech is going to be welcoming you with open arms. There is like you said, there's a lot of gap.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you got to understand it. We are at a, when you build a tech platform, when you build a tech solution, it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have to be for India.
Yes,
It
this
can
is a global opportunity. We are not talking about,
not
we
going to
are
say I'm going
looking
to
at
make metaverse only for
yes,
Mumbai City. I'm going to make
yes.
metaverse. It's going to be for the globe. Which country is going to adopt it? One from the supply side, which is the developer, and one is
Mm-hmm.
from the consumer side, who's going to
Right.
consume. तो अगर आपका
Yes.
डेवलपर या सप्लाई साइड वाला है जो आपका वो प्लेटफॉर्म यूज करेगा और कंज्यूमर को कंज्यूम करेगा, इन्वेस्टर
Mm-hmm.
आपके पीछे भाग के आएगा.
Absolutely. And the investors are across the globe. We only talked about 1 trillion, dollar industry is only in India. Imagine across the globe, what else, what the opportunity that is waiting out there. So, lace up your boots, get going and dream big. And if you want an advisor who can advise you from anywhere in the world, reach out to Sangeet on his LinkedIn, and he'll be more than happy to advise you guys. And I'm offering your services on your behalf of Sangeet. Hope you don't mind.
No,
Uh,
as I said, it's a commitment now. And Kavita, it's an amazing journey. I'm at the where I believe that if I can give something, is whatever little bit time. I'm always
mhm,
hard for time, but
mhm,
wherever I can, I would be more than happy. Wherever I can open up any gates, I can open up any doors. I can be a key for anything which can be unlocked. I would be more than
mhm.
happy. And that's a commitment I'm giving it to you, Kavita, and it's a commitment I'm giving it to Soulverse.
Thank you so much, Sangeet. We much appreciate that as well. And one last thing for the viewers and listeners. Any idea when your talk show is going to be launched?
So that's a good question. My team is working on it. We are going to be ready. I would now say that they have put me on a spot. We are on 30th of Jan. So I think give us about say 2 weeks. We should be
Mhm,
getting the first show on. I think let's be again like practical. I've been telling everyone to be practical, right? And I have another problem now. I have a team which is more perfect than me. So
mhm,
we want to be doing it perfectly right. We
mhm,
have all our so-called, the strategy is correct. So I would say to give it 2 weeks or max to max 3 weeks, and you will be seeing our show live. We have a concept correct. We know what we do. We've already
mhm,
again. I've not made the same mistake. What I've been telling people not to make. I've done a lot of research, and the
mhm,
show is going to be different. That's what I promise you. And it's now that this is the first time publicly we are talking about the show. It's on your platform, so I am now double committed to ensure
Exactly.
we come out with something different. So Kavita can then say that I first broke this news of the HHK show on Soulverse.
The honor is ours, Sangeet. Thank you for announcing it, and we look forward to it and wish you the very best.
And this is for my team now who's listening. So Vartika, Preeti, Nimesh, Sunil, all of you now buckle up because I have now spilled it up. It's there on Kavita's show. So we better be live soon now.
Yes, now we have committed live, so we're
I'm
gonna
committed.
hold. Thank you so much, Sangeet. Thank you, listeners. If you have any questions, do put them in the comments on LinkedIn. I think we are on Telegram and on Twitter. If there are questions directed to Sangeet, we will pass them on, and he can answer them for you. And if they are directed to us, we'll be more than happy to answer them for you. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thanks, Ali, for putting this together. For everybody at Solvers, we'll see you guys in the next one, Soul Share number 5. Thank you so much.
It's an amazing session, and I'm happy that you didn't ask me too many technical questions. Where I called up Ali, I told Ali, he tell Kavita, bola nahi, don't worry, and you have been an amazing host. This is
Thank
so beautiful, and this is learning now from a host to another host that I have learned this from you. That don't ask questions which is right there from a chat GPT or let it be a dil se. I call it a free flowing conversation, a dil se
you. Yes.
conversation, a heart to heart conversation. जो दिल से निकलता है वो सही निकलता है और वो अच्छा भी निकलता है.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Pleasure, Kavita, and I'm really honored and privileged to be on your show.
Likewise, Sangeet, we're honored to have you as our guest, and we look forward to talking to you again for sure.
Anytime, and I'm there for you. Thanks, Kavita. And
Thank you,
thank you,
guys.
audience and listeners who have been here watching us and listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.